Mid-Michigan Whitetails, brought to you by Pure Whitetail Scents, Scentlock Technologies, Double Tine Innovation Seed and Feed.
Well, it's October 15th. It's about 12:40 in the afternoon. Just want to talk about a couple things around here, just so you have an understanding on what this show is about. I released my week 2 episode showing me shooting that pretty decent 9-point. He scored right around 100 inches. I mean, he's by no means a monster in the, world of hunting, I guess. But this area, that's what I want to talk about. This area here, our mature bucks, first of all, our 3-year-olds, they, maybe 130 inches if we're lucky. We're primarily surrounded by nothing but ag. And we have tons of hunting pressure in this area. Just my farm alone has at least 8 neighbors on the edges of it at all times. And I'm not hunting a big farm, 100 plus acres. I have about 50 acres that I can control between owning, leasing, and having permission on this block. I have a couple other little sections elsewhere. But basically, I hunt about 50 acres. And the deer core in about 25 acres in the center. With how much hunting pressure I have, and when I mean hunting pressure, I mean my neighbors are, the old, it's brown, it's down, it has horns, it's gone. So letting deer go is hard in my area, and I'm sure a lot of you can relate to that. You think, if I let them go, the neighbor's going to shoot them, which I've grown to understand that yes, it can happen, but to a point, you can manage small properties. You can get away with management on small properties if it's done correctly. That's a whole nother episode or talk in general, but I'm here to say it's entirely possible. But I just want to talk about my age structure that I do have out here. My average age structure is probably between 100 to 130 inch 3-year-old. My 2-year-olds are 60 to 80 inches, and my yearlings are spikes, 4 points, things of that sort. Occasionally, I'll get the 4, 5-year-old, 6-year-old deer in here. Rarely do I see 160 inches if I'm lucky. And personally, my biggest is only about 140 inches. This isn't Iowa, this isn't Illinois, this is Michigan. We know what Michigan's like. Michigan is a hard place to hunt for mature whitetail. These deer are extremely pressured, and with that comes pros and cons. In future episodes, I'll give little segments of tips and tricks and things I do to hold mature bucks within a home range of 50 acres. And when I classify mature bucks, I classify 3-year-olds or 3-year-old or older, or 100 inches. But typically, we don't have 2-year-olds that are 100 inches right here. It just really doesn't happen, and it's unfortunate. And now with the mineral ban coming into effect in January, it's going to be extremely difficult. But I want to relate to a lot of the average hunters, and I want to show that you may have that 20 acres, you may have that 40 acres, but it's entirely possible for you to shoot 100-inch plus deer, 3, 4, 5-year-old deer. I know a lot of guys out there would look down on my buck that I shot and say, well, it's too small, let him go. But for this area, for where I'm at, I have, basically this block is the biggest amount of deer cover for miles. You go to the block to the south of me, and there's literally a 5-acre section of timber, and that's it. And then you go to the block to the west of me, and there's a 60-acre section divided by 5 neighbors of timber in the middle of ag. You go to the north of me, and there's maybe 10 acres of timber, and they can lay on a creek line that runs through there. But again, there's 8 neighbors, and when I say neighbors, I mean 8 families. So they, each neighbor has their own 2, 3, 4 hunters out there with them. You go to the west of me over here, the east of me over here, and that's probably my next largest source of cover. There is probably about 100 acres of timber split into about 3 sections. And I have talked to those neighbors and Some of them manage, some of them don't. The average management in this area is probably, you know, if it's 6 points or bigger, they're going to shoot it. So, yes, my bucks aren't the biggest, and I'm sure you can go to other channels and watch them shoot monsters. But my goal for my channel is to be more relatable, give tips to the average hunter, show them things that you can do on your small pieces of property to really affect your deer herd in your area and maximize your potential of shooting the bucks you have in your area. You know, a lot of guys on trail cameras, they're lucky if they have a 3-year-old on camera or 100 inches, and that's a monster to them. And that's who the audience is that I'm trying to focus on. I'm really trying to bring this to everybody's attention that it is possible, and the more people who get involved, the bigger our bucks will get, the better the age structure will become, and all around, the more fun everybody can have. Everybody wants a wall mounter. That's really my goal, and I just want to show people that as long as you're not trying to go out and shoot 200-inch Iowa Giants, it's entirely possible to shoot mature deer in Michigan in high-pressured areas on small pieces of property.